Vele it's established Uguti Chiefs is the biggest team in Southern Africa. It's also established Ugutu Itumeleng Khune is one of the best goalkeepers in South African football right now. If not in history, maybe I'm pushing it. And it's only natural Uguti things will be said about him, some that are true and some that are not so true. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Bilo, I'm your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. And amongst other things that I'll be talking about, I'll also talk about Itumeleng Khune and whether or not he's throwing his teammates under the bus. I will also talk about Ngezana. I will also talk about Unjabulo Blom as well. So stay tuned to hear all about those things. Okay, so asiqale ngoKhune. So there was a comment that came after the game here, Stellenbosch ukuthi someone said, did you notice ukuthi Khune didn't even try and save the ball because he was so angry with Ublom and stuff like that? I was like, no, it did not happen, because from what I saw good now Khune did not like intentionally let the ball go in, because obviously it wouldn't make sense, one, because it's his clean sheet, so he wouldn't like want to lose a clean sheet just because he's angry with Blom. But then today I saw an article Google that was talking about Ugutu Khune did not even attempt to save the ball. He seemed to be more mad about Ublom losing the ball. And then I was like, okay, maybe I missed something. So I went back to the highlights and then I watched the goal and how it went in. So what happened is Khune was on the far right, because you can't like call for the ball because in case there's a mistake, then a bowler does not cross the goal line and you end up conceding a goal. And then when Ublom lost the ball, Khune is now tracking back towards the middle of the goal to make sure everything is covered. And then the striker was quick enough to strike the ball while Khune was running. And while he was running, momentum pushed him further to the left and the ball langena kwa right. And then he continued with his momentum and just like was shouting and was angry basically with Ublom. And according to that article, Khune didn't even try to save the ball. It's like he was angry with Ublom and it did. I'm like, that doesn't make sense, guys. Come on. And I know Velo Guti sometimes it's well and isn't association to end up like bad mouthing Khune and other people, because I mean it's easy Velo to always find something to blame and think I know Khune Velo and Zengamabom, especially after what he had said about other players being starstruck by playing for Kaizer Chiefs. So manje zonke lezi zinto will start being associated with that, although they are not true. So from what I saw from my own replay, watching a replay, it doesn't seem like Khune did that. It wouldn't make sense. Anyway, let's go to number 2, talking about Unjabulo Blom and his preferred position. Now, the agent Blom said Ublom prefers to play as a defensive midfielder. Now, when Blom is asked, he uqala na try pass it last season. Coach Stewart played me as a right back, and then Coach Arthur wanted to play me as a central defensive midfielder, CDM. But isikhumbula ukuthi Blom did not just start playing as a defensive midfielder this season. Under Hunt, when we're playing good Champions League, Blom was also playing as a defensive midfielder. So wakusiya intention. So that made me go like, what Blom? Are you hiding something from us? Are you actually hiding Uguti? No, I just prefer playing as a defensive midfielder, because if he had said, yeah, I prefer playing as a defensive midfielder, then all of us or some of us would say, so his agent was right and he prefers to play as a defensive midfielder and they've been playing him in out of position all along. So if Uguti Ublom ngempela said that because he was trying to avoid people saying, that's what the agent said in any case, then I would say that's good on him, because he has been able to not put a blame on anyone, because he's saying he enjoys playing right back as much as enjoy playing a defensive midfielder. Basically, it's small things like this that I obsess over, because some people abanga may not notice Uguti it's such a small thing, but that can help keep the peace, because umuntu angaphendula nje, yeah, I love playing as a defensive midfielder, but without thinking about the consequences of what you are saying. So that is why it's so important for these players to be careful with what they do, what they say, because we are here, we're analyzing everything that they are saying, and we are making our own conclusions. We are like deducing from what they are saying, which, oh, usholoku because of this, and then we're connecting dots, and sometimes we're wrong and we end up talking about izinto that are not there as if they were there. If you're enjoying this video, please do like it. If you are still not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Okay, sorry for shouting, but if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. Also vote for SAMUKELISIWE. The link is pinned on the comment section below. It's free, you can vote every day. Thank you so much for those who have been voting. Continue voting. Now to Ngezana. So indaba kaNgezana is interesting, right? Because we know Guti Vele, there are some people who still haven't forgiven him for the mistakes that he made earlier on in the season. On the other hand, you have a performance against Stellenbosch. On the other hand, abantu bazothi no Mpilo, don't get carried away, Ngezana just had one solid performance, blah blah blah, and that's it. But you also have Kwinika, who in recent games we've seen Uguti, yes, he's a solid defender, but the problem that I've seen with him is clumsiness, as I said, and the second thing is the fact that sometimes it doesn't press ama opponents striker as much as I would like, because sometimes he backs off, and in him backing off, sometimes he plays the other team's strikers on, like what happened against Amazulu. Uguti was busy backing off, uSolomons was further up, but because Kwinika was deep, kwagcina kwenzeka leya mistake. Against Maromo Gallants, the space between our defense and our midfield was so huge, Uguti Polaleza kuye all along, and he ended up making a mistake that proved to be costly, because ngenxa yokuthi, because ngenxa is such a strong word, because because in his nature he is not as quick as Dove, for example. He tends to back up because he doesn't want to leave too much space behind him. So then he favors ukuthi atukuhlehla kancane before he can make a challenge. Unlike Ngezana, who usually favors going in with challenge and challenging you one-on-one and challenging you physically, because he has good, even if you go past him, he has the pace to run back and track back and basically recover and win the ball back. With that in mind, and knowing Guti Chiefs is playing Ibola El Atekayo, and basically that is vulnerable to a counter, is it possible Ugutu Zwane might end up playing Ngezana ahead of Kwinika? Now, I know Kwinika is a leader and he offers experience as well to the team. He's a big signing brought back from Stellenbosch, but in the spirit of if it's not broken, don't fix it, do you think Uzwane will actually start Ngezana against the Cheaper, and based on that performance, agcine emdlalisa in the games to come? And eventually, is it possible ukuthi Ngezana could take his game from Kwinika because of that? It's a question. Ngitsheleni ukuthi nicabangani about that down on the comment section below. And also, what do you think about Blom's comments? Do you think he's just saying that because it's the truth, or do you think he was saying that to be, what's the word that I wanted to use, nyalukhohlwa, but he was just saying it to protect Intaisho, because he knows good Konompilo and other haters. Well, I'm not a hater, but there are other haters who are scrutinizing everything that he's saying and are looking for a way of making that negative. Angazi mina, ngitsheleni kuma comment section. I will see you on the next video, and until next time, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, remember, equals alphela umoya.